Uh, Today is a very nice morning, and here at Entebbe One, we are trying to we are organizing a program called the Business Today, and we are lucky that in this new program we are having very new guys in the field of business who have tried to explore a lot of things that is going to help themselves and the community at large. Uh, First of all, allow me to thank uh, uh, allow me to thank Nerane Bakeries and Confectionaries in Rugonjo who are providing a lot of merchandise to the community. These are our sponsors of this program. And please, if you are in this community, just go there and see what is being availed to the community. And they provide a wide range of household items that can really help our communities within Entebbe. Thank you so much, Lily, for coming up with this new idea. In the studio today, we are privileged host Gilbert CEO, who is the CEO of Harambe. He has quite a number of companies there. He's going to take us through this new session. You're most welcome, Mr. Gilbert.
Thank you, Mr.
How is the Harambe business?
Wow, Harambe is amazing. Harambe is doing well. Harambe is alive.
Okay, Mr. Gilbert, how did you come up with this idea of starting up Harambe?
Oh, thank you so much, my host. But allow me maybe first introduce myself because I did hear you say Wambale. My name is Wambale Gilbert. I'm a true African, and I'm an entrepreneur, a libertarian, a free market person who advocate. You asked me how Harambe started. As a young man, I have grown up looking at business and investment transforming the world. So I believe, and from the exposures and the conferences that I've gotten chance to attend, it has opened, broader my mind to see that to do business, you don't have to do it with a do or die. It's simply to have a mindset towards what you want to achieve. So for me, briefly about Harambe is something that came to my mind in the year of 2020, during the time when the entire world was locked down. So I was the tour operator.
During COVID time?
Yeah, before COVID time. I was the tour operator. And then after COVID came in, we were no longer
operating.
Yes. So I was there seated at home and looking at how we used to move around and pick up people from abroad, the tourists. And then we had no more, the incomes were all down, but our families kept on demanding from us. As a young man, I'm a family person. So I saw there was need to see a way of how we can mitigate this without having to break our minds, our backs, that we have to go out when even the government was to have told us to be at home. So I started an idea and I conceived something that was in line with what I was doing. That was something you look at in the background, the paintings. I'm someone who loved art so much, to an extent that every time I would pick my client from the airport, I made sure that at least the client I had fell in love with one of the artworks that would pass by whenever we are heading to Kampala, even to the different destinations that we are going to. So I conceived that well, these people are now the artists in Uganda, the guys that created these pieces, could no longer get out or even get people to bring the clients to them because they made the target or the audience or the market of these paintings. Some of them are not Ugandans. I mean, it is very few Ugandans will realize the value of art. They will tell you this painting, they're giving you 100,000, and that's way smaller. Even the material that you use at the time to create this, that cannot even make 10% of the question. Yeah. So I was so much touched to these guys, including myself. And I thought of capitalizing on internet. That if we create an online thing, because remember, by the time there was no travels of people, but cargo was moving. So this was also part of the cargo. So me, I kept on seeing the cargo planes landing on the airport. And I said, no. can we capitalize on the internet and we create something online? And that's when I came up with. I called my friend in USA. He's a libertarian friend. He's a business person. He's an entrepreneur. And I told him, I have this. Can we give it life? Luckily enough, the guy Daniel supported, and we started. So initially, that's how Harambe started. But to talk about Harambe briefly, Harambe is a Kiswahili word that I think most
because so many guys don't understand Swahili, and Harambe is a Swahili language.
Yeah. So
how do you make sure that a Ghanaian person here is able to understand that word Harambe?
Well, the mother language of East Africa is Kiswahili. You and I know that.
But Ugandan language is
They have not just impressed, but I'm talking about the mother of East Africa. We are part. Yeah. So the big population of East Africa speaks Kiswahili. That's why you will go to village and you hear someone say Swahili word. They at least know that. So I am from my studies, or from my study time, there was a word that interested me, and that word was Harambe. Those of Jomo Kenyatta, the former president of Kenya, they used that word. And I did not know much, but when I explored it from the time I was in school, I found that it was a unification or unifying word that called or invited voluntarism of most of the community people to come and help in need of any assistance to the community. In other words, it is a brotherhood call to have something done voluntarily.
So is this Harambe business done voluntarily? Or?
Absolutely.
Okay, Gilbert, let me take me through something I don't understand. You see, starting up business in Uganda is not so easy. First of all, just from the registration process is very complicated, and even managing the business itself, because you require a lot of capital. Where do you get the capital to set up Harambe business?
Wow, that's quite interesting. The dynamics, as you just mentioned, of registering any business or even starting in Uganda, and like I said, that it is not a do or die. When you refer it to that, then you will not have anything. Because the research has shown that Uganda is one of the most entrepreneurial countries in the world. They will tell you that most of the business that start in Uganda don't celebrate a birthday. That's a 1 year inception or 1 year. So what is the challenge? The challenge is you and I might know. I will help out because I'm doing research on that specific. I think one time you'll call me back on your show, then I'll be able to have the findings of my research. So to me, I did not see the challenge of capital as a challenge. For me, I knew that when I have an idea, the idea is money. That's why I had to call my friend who I knew could have to have an input in this. So for me, mine was to have the idea, build it up, and then I sell it to someone who saw a vision like I did in the vision. So to start a business in Uganda, people think that you have to have money, or even you have to first register. So I can tell you right now, we are just in the registration stages of this, but the company has been on. Now for this one, we've been selling on. I can tell you that we've now exported over 20 pieces to the different parts of the world. And I can tell you a piece or a painting you look at here. One painting goes for 750 US dollars. That's around 1.8. 1.2 million something, 1.2 million Ugandan shillings. So we are the only inputs we are putting in is data. So for me, maybe the only thing I would appeal to, how do you call them, the statesmen or the governors in our country, or the leaders, is if they can have a subsidize on the mobile data, or even provide internet to the youths like then you will see more of these businesses or entrepreneurial ventures coming up. So for me, I think it's not the money, but it's the idea, the mindset you have towards achieving anything.
That's okay. Gilbert, now tell us, because Harambe has two groups of companies. There's Harambe, which deals in paintings, which is sold online, and there's Harambe Logistics. How do you manage running two businesses at the same time?
Well, this is something I should have said first. I am not running Harambe, the entire Harambe group of companies, as myself. I have a group of young men that we're working with. One is an administrator of one of the think tanks in Uganda, ALED, and his name is Joram. I have another person who helps me out. That's my wife. Yes, she's someone who handles some of our secretary work. And then we have marketeers. We have two, one in Mexico and one in USA. So those are some of the people that are helping us to market this.
How did you link up with them?
Yeah, like I said, that there are some conferences that I attended during my study time that were mostly convened or organized by ALET, or Action for Liberty and Economic Development, that I go to reach out to people, all the speakers, the different speakers that kept on coming, popping in the country, to see that we get this, I mean, skills and the knowledge. So for me, I'm someone who is, call it social. So when I see someone and they've talked sense on the pulpit, on the whatever auditorium, I always want, before they leave, I have to take a word. And what that's how I did. So I used to go to them after their presentation, said, see, I also have this. So I am sure they also saw something in me. And that's why even today we're still talking. Because I can tell you, for the past times we've had all those conferences organized, but a few of the people that come will be communicating, or will keep the communications going on after the event. So for me, I made sure that I connected people of high minds. Actually, myself, if I do see that you have something I need, I will pay any price to make sure that I have a couple of tea or some coffee with you to at least tap on that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, there are quite a number of younger men and women within entertainment that who think that okay, and they carry a very big problem of unemployment. What advice would you give to them?
Yeah, so for me, I can tell them that if someone graduated from school, there's a lot that is being demanded from them. One, their parents want them to work, to at least help out at home, even to be independent. That's one of the things. If you can look for work, if you cannot get work, I'll give you two things. One, you don't need money to start up. All you need is the idea that you have. There's a lot of people that have their money sleeping on their bank accounts, and these people don't have anything to do with the money. I can cite for you that there are a lot of grants that are free, open to every entrepreneur, everyone who has an idea. One is the Mastercard Foundation, has got seed for entrepreneurs. I have not tapped in that, but I'm in the pipeline. There is also NSSF. NSSF is actually having a lot of programs for the youth, for the entrepreneurs that someone can do. And after doing that program, it's online programs, you'll be able to tap in in their investment seed they have. Yes. A lot of them, I have even seen that on the Google Black funders or Google Black donors. They're giving a lot of sums of money to people like us. So you can only tap in that money.
Are you beneficiary to that, one of the programs you're talking about?
No, I've not yet, but at least I have put in my applications, and I'm hopefully that I will be one. Even if I don't, but I know there is also some other person who has benefited. That's why I'm telling you that, let's say if they are giving 10 and we are 100, of course we can't all get, but at least the 10 will be able to what? To do that. And you know, the good thing or the most interesting part of this is that when someone gets that seed and they appropriately or have a multiplier effect on that money, it will be able to get or employ more a population of our youth. So for me right now, I can tell you that we are now employing over 13 people in our small startup. And now this is just 2 years. So we have a very big vision. In 5 years coming from now, we see ourselves employing more than 200 people in our company in less than 5 years from now.
Okay, you see, in any business there are always challenges. Recently, I saw the municipal council looking up people's businesses who are just starting up. And I strongly believe that maybe we'll be one of the people who have been affected by this particular manner. How have you tried to utilize the municipal in terms of business?
One thing I would maybe have an advice to people like me who are starting, and also the municipal authorities, is one, you cannot plant your crops and you harvest them before they yield. So I would have, or I would think that these lords or these authorities should first have to look at the yields these companies or these small startups are doing, than just harvesting the crops before they yield. Because if you come to me and you're taxing me before I have any yields, it means now you're taking my capital. So right now that most of the startups start, you don't need to tax them or even to lock them, because when you lock them up, You're like someone going to plant crops, and then after planting them, you deny them water in case if you are using irrigation, because we cannot say that you have to only wait for rain, it's natural, whatever, that we can do farming. The other mechanisms of doing farming, you can bring water and whatever. So after planting, and these crops need water, you cannot deny them, because if you deny them water, then you are denying them from what? From yielding as much as possible. So for the young people, is that I don't support taxation.
Yeah.
I believe that taxation is simply getting out money from the people that are having a multiplier effect on the money and giving it to people who are just sitting on the money, or sometimes to even eat it. Allow me comment on one of the things that the government is embracing. One, we've seen a lot of strategies that government has come up with. One, I can talk about the poverty eradication scheme, poverty scheme. We've seen the Mioga, we've seen NADS, we've seen now the parish model. You see, I yes support government to come up with these initiatives, but the ground, or on the research on which these projects are being implemented, is not known, is not clear. You cannot go to someone and you tell them that you're giving them close to $1 billion, and not $1 trillion, to the parish people who do not know anything to do with money. Just take an example, someone who has never done any cattle rearing, and then you give them a calf to rear. Do you think they will be able to have that calf grow up and even multiply or give birth to?
But there's a certain percentage of money that goes into subsidization. So maybe that
this is why I was saying that research and even the implementation model may not be right. I'm not questioning the entire thing, but I'm saying the way of how it is being conducted.
Okay, Gilbert, as you worked in this municipal council for like nearly 2 years, are there incentives given to you by the municipal council in regard to this kind of business?
For now, I can tell you that the art paintings business or the African Art Exchange, we do not need any intervention of what? Of any municipal.
Then the logistics company.
The logistics company, that one, I'm sure we are going to have to get in touch with the authorities after registration to see that at least we can always pay in what they want us to pay. But first leave company, just like when you invite investors from abroad, you always give them 5 or even 10 years.
Do they give you such an incentive?
That's the challenge that we have, that the local investors or young startups are not given that time. And I was telling you that you cannot grow crops and then you expect to get yields before they yield. You have to first leave them, just like you get investors, or you call up investors from abroad, from wherever they come from, and you give them the 5 years.
Anyway, Gilbert, I feel like that is to the authorities concerned.
I think I have not had the time, because one, these people don't even know me. The Lords will expect you to come, you mugged, or you something big, be a business person. That's when you can even have time to talk to them. But that now we have the media, like everyone, I'm so privileged that my voice is now getting out. And I'm sure if it lands on, let's say, the mayor or anything, I appeal to you, the leaders or the authorities, that please, give us some time. Give the young people time to first set up. And I'm 100% sure, like me, after getting all the yields, we shall file our returns and we shall bring them, because we are people that are doing voluntary work. Me, if it was to voluntarily pay in our taxes, I'll be one of the first people to what? To file my returns to you.
Okay. Before we end up this program, is there a message you'd have to pass to the younger men and the women out there who are trying to watch you at everyone in regards to self-employment and and business in general?
Yeah, thank you so much. Maybe you allow me look into the camera, which is this one. Oh, all of them. Wow, let me look. On this world, there are 2 things you can choose: to be thoughtful or to think for the rest. I have had research from one of the great men of God in this country, the leader of Fanero Ministries, Apostle Grace Logistics, my father, that research shows that 2% of the entire population of this world, that's close to 5 billion, 20 something, it is being thought for. The rest, which is 98%, simply stays to be thought for. So the youth or any person, any entrepreneur who is looking at me, have that in your mind. Do you have any cause or an idea in your mind that you think can have an effect or can influence the world? If not, can you get back to the drawing board and see how you can think about something? Think about solving a problem to the community. For myself, my initiative, the Harambe African Art Exchange, was to mitigate the problem of the artists. Now, in this very venture, I have had to even develop other ideas. I can tell you, I have more than 5 ideas that will come up from this very initiative. And it has come after I thought about solving a problem. So you solve a problem and you don't chase money. Money chases people. I can tell you, right now, there is someone who is calling me to have shares in my company, and they have thousands of dollars. But I have not yet accepted the offer because I am still consulting my other counterparts to see whether this money these people are bringing, do we need it? If we do not need it, then we shall turn down the offer of the what? Of this money. But I can tell you that to have anything, you have to be in the category. Either you stay in the 98 or you be in the 2%. Maybe that's what I want.
Okay, that's a very nice message, Mr. Gilbert. Thank you so much indeed for those who have been watching us. Gilbert has been my guest today. Maybe I will host you at the next time to tell us more how the business has progressed there. Thank you so much, viewers of Entebbe One. It's been Mr. Gilbert of Harambe, CEO Harambe, group of companies based in Entebbe. And he has told us what he has been doing and what he's doing for the youth and the community at large. And we expect him to come back next time to tell us what has transpired at the end of the day. Thank you so much, Mr. Nelson Mukasa of Bakers and Confectionaries for sponsoring this program this very morning. We are very proud of you, please. Mr. Mukasa is based in Ugonjo Trading Center. If in case you need anything to use at home, just go and help him. I mean, support him too because he's supporting our program here. Thank you so much, viewers. Thank you much indeed. Have a blessed day.
Thank you.